Revelation are to be fulfilled. Now watch about the buildings being set on fire. Last Friday morning, just before I awoke, a very impressive scene was presented before me. I seemed to awake from sleep, but not in my home. From the windows I could behold a terrible conflagration. Great balls of fire were falling upon houses, and from these balls fiery arrows were flying in every direction. It was impossible to check the fires that were kindled, and many places were being destroyed. The terror of the people was indescribable. After a time I awoke and found myself at home. In the night, I thought I was in a room, but not in my own house. I heard expression after expression. I rose up quickly in bed and saw from my window large balls of fire. Jetting out were sparks in the form of arrows, and buildings were being consumed in a very few minutes. The entire block of buildings was falling, and the screeching and the mournful groans came distinctly to my ears. I cried out in my raised position to learn what was happening. Where am I? It was a voice that spoke, "Be not afraid. Nothing shall harm you." Let's look at the thousands of cities. The inhabitants of the ungodly cities, so soon to be visited by calamities, have been cruelly neglected. The time is near when large cities will be swept away, and all should be warned of these coming judgments. Oh, that God's people had the sense of the impending destruction of how many cities? Thousands of cities, now almost given to idolatry. Now let's talk about the dark day. This is the sharpest day that I have ever witnessed in the carriage in the storm. She's talking about a railroad. She's on a railroad train. I thought of the day when the judgments of God would be poured out upon the world, when blackness and horrible darkness would clothe the heavens as sackcloth of hair. My imagination anticipated what it must be in that period when the Lord's mighty voice shall give commission to his angels, "Go your way and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth." I want to say something about this, and that is when the smoke surrounds the world that crops don't grow. Did you know that? Take sunshine. There's not only going to be a famine, there's not going to be anything growing. We have to factor all of this in. Now, let's talk about the asteroids. There is a roar as of a coming tempest. The sea is lashed into fury. Inhabited islands disappear. The seaports that have become like Sodom for wickedness are swallowed up by the angry waves. You notice the S on the word seaport? It says seaports, doesn't it? Great hailstones, every one about the weight of a talent, are doing their work of destruction. The proudest cities of the earth are laid low. The lordly palaces upon which the world's great men have lavished their wealth in order to glorify themselves are crumbling to ruin before their eyes. I won't take time to read the rest of this. I think that it is very, very clear. But I'm pondering. I am really pondering about what to do with what I know. What are we going to do with what we as Adventists know? I think you folks here, in circulating the books that you're circulating, I believe that God is behind what you're doing. I believe that with all my heart. I want you to notice that in the opening part of this message that I was strictly on the Bible and nothing but the Bible. That what I had to say was not built upon the spirit of prophecy. The spirit of prophecy supports what the Bible says. And this is the reason why we must always come back to the Bible as the foundation. But I do find that the writings of Ellen White support the Bible and give authenticity to our interpretation.